So today we're going to just briefly talk about why, if you have knee arthritis, it's more important to concentrate on the function of your knee, okay, like how strong it is, how flexible it is, as opposed to all the structural things that have gone wrong, like if you have a torn meniscus, loss of cartilage, that kind of thing. So here we go. Well, another way of trying to figure out what's causing the pain in knee arthritis is to pinpoint the knee structures that are abnormal and then blame them. However, there's a problem with this approach. You can find many knee abnormalities in people that have no pain. For instance, researchers studied 319 subjects that had knee arthritis on x-ray. Only 40% of them had any knee pain. Okay? Another study looked at 50 people that had knee arthritis but had no pain. Okay, so these people had knee arthritis but no pain. 30% of them had bone marrow lesions, or what they call BMLs, okay, on MRI. In this study, 154 patients over 45 years of age with knee arthritis were compared to 49 subjects over 45 years of age that had no knee pain or knee arthritis. MRI scans found meniscus tears in 91% of arthritic knees. However, 76% of those people with pain-free knees also had meniscus tears. So 70% of people with pain-free knees can have are walking around with meniscus tears. From these studies, you can quickly see that the problem with trying to figure out the source of one's pain by looking for abnormalities in the knee. As these studies show us, there's a lot of people walking around with no knee pain that have knee arthritis and meniscus tears. While that might seem unbelievable, it's true and well documented in published arthritis research. So now what? How does one go about figuring out what's causing their knee pain? Well, with the current technology, the most realistic answer is that it's not possible to precisely pinpoint what structures are causing the pain in many cases. However, before you get too discouraged, let me also add that you don't necessarily have to know the exact source of your knee pain to get rid of it. Perhaps a better approach to getting rid of knee pain. So far, we've been looking at knee arthritis from a structural point of view. We know from x-rays and MRIs that cartilage wears down, the underlying bone changes, the meniscus can tear, and so on. We've also noted from the research studies that in many cases you can have these changes in your knee and still be pain-free, which leaves us a little empty-handed at times trying to explain what exactly causes your arthritic pain. However, dig into the research on arthritic knee function and you'll get a little different perspective on things. By function, I'm talking about how your knee works and performs. For example, how strong are your knee muscles? How well can you bend or straighten your knee? So what does the knee research on arthritis knee function show us? A lot. Here's an example. Researchers went out in the community and randomly selected 462 men and women that were over 65. X-rays were taken of their knees as well as the strength of their knees, of the quadriceps muscle, an important stabilizer of the knee. It was found that men and women with knee arthritis had much weaker knee quadriceps muscles than those with no arthritis. Researchers also noted that women with painful knee arthritis had much weaker quadriceps muscles than those with non-painful knee arthritis. So here again, the difference, weaker quads, whether it's painful or not. It's interesting that the people with knee arthritis had much weaker leg muscles than the people without knee arthritis. Even more interesting is that among the women with arthritis, those with pain had more weakness than those without pain. Apparently there are other problems going on in the arthritic knee other than just structural abnormalities we see pictured also clearly on x-rays and MRIs. In the above studies, the researchers could actually predict who had knee arthritis and who had painful knee arthritis and who had painful knee arthritis simply by looking at whose leg muscles were working the best. Okay, now we're getting somewhere, and we're in a lot more optimistic position. In this book, we're going to be concerned so much with things such as cartilage loss, a torn meniscus, or bone spurs. We know from many studies that it's quite possible for people to live with just fine with these kinds of changes in the knee. So we're going to just let them be. And what are we going to focus on? Improving the functioning of your knee. Why? Because functional problems, like improperly working knee muscles, seem much more related to one having pain than how bad pictures of your knee look on an x-ray or MRI. Therefore, this book is going to lead you step by step through a series of tune-ups that are specifically designed to get your knee in good working order. If you got weak knee muscles, we're going to zero in on the key ones and make them stronger. If your knee is stiff, we're going to loosen it up, and so on. The plan is sound. Pain is the result of something not functioning properly, so if we improve the function of your knee, the symptoms will improve. So there you go. That's according to the research.